Hello and welcome to Journeys of Restoration. I'm your host, Jacinta Canary, and here on this podcast, I talk about journeys of forgiveness, my faith as a woman of faith, my mental health, and all things concerning wellness and well-being. Today, I am going to talk about the therapy session, the initial therapy session. What could that look like, and what kind of feelings, emotions you're going through, and just to kind of give you a little bit of background about what potentially that could be like. So at this point in time, you're probably going through something that's causing you upset, distress. You might not be eating okay. You might be a little bit stressed, anxious. You're not yourself, basically, and you've probably asked some advice. So you've gone to your GP, a nurse, a friend, family friend, somebody in church, a colleague. Someone has probably sent you to go and find out, maybe, do you think therapy could be for you to help you through this situation, or what is going on in your life? Some examples of things that people come to therapy for is a loss of someone, difficult traumatic experiences, abuse, childhood abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, victims of rape, victims of crime, victims of assault, moving to another country, adjusting, getting married, thinking about marriage, relationship, issues within the relationship, communication issues, faith issues, values. What are the values and what you wish for in your relationship moving forward? You got engaged, change of school, could be teenager going through just peer kind of situations, things going on at school, you being bullied, or just not fitting in, or being diagnosed with something on the spectrum. There's so many things that can bring you to therapy. And now, how do you navigate the next step? The next step would be to choose a therapist, make some phone calls, or send emails, a contact sheet. I don't know, people have businesses on Facebook pages, Instagram, website, or LinkedIn. You would have found someone recommended by someone else. Most of my clients come through referrals from other people who has had sessions with me. I also work on BetterHelp, so I have a link there so people would be matched. At BetterHelp, you put in your details and then the system or the algorithm matches you with a preferred therapist. And now, what next? So you make the phone call, you ask, you have an appointment. It's either by phone call, or it's a Zoom call, or is it face to face? It's in person. And so I would probably say you would go in, you invite therapist, get you in, tells you a little bit about the background, how they practice, what the modality is that they use, a specialist approach. And you might then ask, so what does that look like? Can you give me an example? Then it was really useful, but sometimes I also find within the first session, I normally, from my own personal experience, I'm so anxious, so exhausted, and tired of thinking, how am I going to say, or need to say, what if I don't like the therapist? What if the therapist doesn't like me? What if I can't speak? What if I'm so overwhelmed? And I find with the first session, you don't take much in. You probably reserved, or you have a lot of questions, or you're like a little tap that just got open and just like, just spill. So sometimes that can happen too. And then you can normally discuss. The therapist would say this when you make the first contact. They would have explained to you the first session is free or it's reduced. And then the rate that they charge per session, how often will you meet? Is it once a week, every 2 weeks? And then as you then have the sessions, I normally like to have a review after the first session, how things are going, checking in, and then take it from there. It is useful to say at this point. I always say to the client, you are in the driving seat and you can go away to go and think about if you want to proceed the therapy relationship with me and how we will then make the appointments. I use a person-centered approach. I was trained in person-centered approach, which is a non-judgmental, open, non-directive environment. It's warm, it's kind. I accept the client as they are. I don't give answers. I journey alongside you and also use integrated QSL Heal, which is a human experience augmenting language, which uses I use to kind of help you get in touch with your feelings and emotions in the body. Because when we've been desensitized with, we don't talk about emotions and feelings. And the first step is to start beginning to recognize, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What does this new kind of feelings, how to process? Because most of the time, also, if you have boundary issues, you don't even know what you think and what you feel because you're so busy with people pleasing, and that could be stressful at the most of times. So we are going to read from the book of Joshua. I just have to go get it here. I had it earlier. And pardon me for the noise of the pages. So Joshua is the leader that had to fill in after Moses died, and he was very young, so very inexperienced, so had lots of kind of questions and fear and insecurities. So I take lots of strength from Joshua. And we read. The reading is from Joshua 1, verse 9, and it's a New Living Translation. Joshua 1, verse 9. This is my command: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I find comfort in that, because even though things are difficult, things could be causing distress, that God is always with you. And that's given me lots of comfort in my journey of restoration, healing from broken to beautiful. And I hope this was helpful to someone listening today. And thank you so much. Stay blessed and beautiful until next time. Bye bye.